plant, and I'm going to say, if you can find a piece of bamboo, get a bamboo shoot and put it in the middle of your house. It's very interesting. Some wonderful gal brought me a bamboo living plant when I first got here, and it happens to be right in the middle of the lovely room that I'm staying in. And it's very helpful. So wood goes in the center to stabilize that a bit. And it's too bad because I could only imagine some of you would like to call in and go, what? Really? Where should it? But is that enough? And do I have this? Sorry, because I'm remote, you just can't call in. But later on, if you wish to call and ask me directly, go for it. And then I want to make a correction in the north as well. So we've got, what's happened here is we've got big earth in water, and water floods the earth, and so it's not a very happy situation. So for those of you who understand what I'm saying, add metal into the north. So that would be move your little wind chime for this month only. Write yourself a little note on November 6th to take it out of the north, but I would put it in the north. Get a little wind chime there, move your clock over there, something along that line. So those are my big feng shui. Yeah, that's about it. Do I want to do something else? Yeah, I do. I want to say in the west as well, I would put some metal this month. So you got two pockets of metal in the west and in the north. And for those of you who go, but it's in the northwest. No, I'm not talking northwest. I'm talking west and I'm talking north. Go for it. Put a little clock in either of those places, but they both need an adjustment. So a clock, a wind chime, a little metal ringy-dingy. Some of you have some little metal feng shui cures. That would help you enormously. In the center box, for those of you who have any of the sacred talismans, a Lakshmi statue, the medicine Buddha, angelic presences, a Buddha, the Christed figure, putting them in the center of your home at this time is helpful also. And that will help ground you. What I have seen in the Northeast, I don't see it as much in Florida, but it's almost an epidemic up here. Left and right, people come in to use my new medical tool, my healing tool, and one of the first things they say is, what can I do about anxiety? The level of anxiety up here is off the charts. At times I have to step away from it because it's hard to breathe in it. It's so massive. So by grounding yourselves with something, you see, when it's in the center of the house, it grounds the center of yourself. And that's what we're really after. So those things are happening, and there we have that. And now I'm going to take a deep breath and drink of water. And I'm going to talk about one of the gene keys. Many of you have the book, The Gene Keys, and the number 57 is actually in motion from October 8th to October 14th. So it's a vibration, it's a frequency. And I think this will help some of you understand about the frequencies. What's happening now is a frequency that's triggering a sense of being a victim of indecision. And so all of that has a chance to be cleared at this time. One of the easiest things to do about indecision is to embrace it. You know, people have been asking me now for 3 weeks, when are you going home? That could trigger a terrible sense of indecision, which then creates an energy leak. Thankfully, I stood very clearly in my not knowingness and very calmly. And the answer is always when I'm directed to go home. So there's really no indecision. Times I get a little pang, oh, maybe, but haven't really quite heard just yet. But trust me, signs are coming, signals are coming. So I've avoided that booby trap of indecision. But here's the two polarities of that booby trap. One is you're overly hesitant. And that is as dangerous as the other side of the polarity, which is impetuous. So some which way that pendulum has to stop swinging. Because hesitancy, there's a phrase, he who hesitates is lost. Well, I bought into that a lot as a child and then became overly impetuous. Now, there's the discernment of, let me perhaps consider it, but you don't need to consider. Depending on the caliber of something and you learning to get in touch with your own higher self, you don't need to be reconsidering a million times. When I was directed and full-on guided to hop in the car and get to New Jersey ASAP, that was not impetuous. I full-on heard the direction, and because I was so centered, took it and started packing, and bingo, I arrived. But if I had hesitated, oh my gosh, let me think about this, let me consult my astrological stuff, let me talk to this one, that one, and that one, what do you think? Which I will remind you is always disastrous because no one's in your shoes, so whatever they think is bogus for you anyway. But a lot of people lose a lot of energy just that way. You know what to think. You just have to be still enough to get there. So either way, there's this whole indecision thing that's upon us from October 8th to October 14th, and that's a lot of the Libra energy. Libra happens to be the worrying sign of the zodiac in Western astrology. So Libras tend to overdo it and overthink and procrastinate, and then nothing happens. Or then they've missed the window of opportunity, then they're frustrated that they missed that window, and then they jump impulsively and impetuously into the wrong situation. So that's what's happening right now. And in the Gene Keys, every time a human being unlocks the secret of enlightenment, they discover the philosopher's stone. Each time it happens, the whole world is loosened somewhat. All matter is interconnected throughout the universe. That's a quote from the 57th Gene Key. Every planet, every rock, every life form is a part of the ocean of matter, matter, M-A-T-E-R, the mother energy. So there's going to be a resurgence of the mother goddess energy. I guarantee it. Now, I'm going to go back to what I just quoted from them. Every time you unlock a secret of enlightenment, I'm going to tell you what that secret is. And there's frequencies that allow you greater, it's like lock upon lock upon lock. So you unlock that one and you unlock that one. What these locks are, you and I have been in lockdown for centuries, seeking enlightenment. Well, when you unlock the secret of enlightenment, you finally understand there's nothing to seek. And I have said this now consistently for months. And you begin to understand if there's nothing to seek, you are that. You are enlightenment. You are the light made manifest. You are non-conceptual. You don't have a concept. That's why I spent the first several minutes of today's talk telling you, helping you, drop the labels, drop the concept. You are non-conceptual. How can you hold a concept about yourself when you are not that? You are ever fresh. In this moment, you are ever fresh. So whoever you were 10 minutes ago, it's already stale and done and over. You are self-shining, always, in every instant. You are presence awareness, just this and nothing else. And that's the secret of enlightenment. Now, as I walk that, I can tell you from the walking, there are days, there are moments, there are hours where once again it almost seems obscured. And I've got to go right back into the deep, concentrated discipline of getting into it again. I didn't get out of it, but I have to drop all the gook that slimed me, that cooked me up. So I don't know whether it was a concept that I wrapped around me, perhaps not feeling at the top of my game, but what I'm seeing with the device that I have been sharing up here, I have seen it opening its portals to me, and it's actually helping me open up further and further into who I am. And I know this device, never in the things that I've studied with it, the people I hear talk about it, the classes I've attended, they can only talk about it's designed to help you go through some physical healing, which indeed it does. But as I work quietly with it, no. And I'm going to be speaking about that very gently, very calmly as time goes on. And as time goes on, I actually hope to share it with the company because I understand it. With the background that I've done, I get what this can do for us. And so each time you and I drop some of our concepts and move back into that sense of knowingness of our own enlightenment, the whole world is loosened ever so slightly. That to me is huge. That to me is why I'm speaking to you today. Yes, it's nice that you can put the feng shui stuff around. What I have just spoken to you is the crux of today. Just as clearly as your long-held belief systems and programming and conditioning has created a darkness on this planet, just as surely and certainly as you begin to step into your enlightenment, every time you do that, it's as if you poke holes in that darkness and the light shines through, as if finally it's been a black, black sky and a star is poking through. And you and I are going to be the new star makers. We're going to allow the star within ourselves to shine. So we're going to poke through the density. And all that density will be loosened. And the entire world will be shifted. Not only that, I know how energy works. For gosh sake, I've been studying this stuff since the 70s. If I haven't got it by now, it wouldn't happen. But I got it. I know the interconnection of energy. And really, that's why I wanted to do this show for this past year. I understand that my frequency can kindle something somewhere in someone who's listening. And they, in turn, can kindle something somewhere, because the